Like, they're suing me for something I didn't do. It's just the moment.
So I had to deal with this complete disaster and ended up paying them a ridiculous amount of money. Jake Paul just got hit with a lawsuit from Netflix after getting destroyed by Anthony Joshua, and honestly, I watched this entire situation blow up knowing exactly what was promised, how they marketed it, and what it actually became. This wasn't some underground event that nobody cared about. This was supposed to be absolutely huge.
I heard that Gervonta Davis was being very difficult to work with and Netflix was just waiting for a reason.
They were pushing this as Netflix's big, heavyweight spectacle, streaming live to millions of people worldwide. And here's what they kept shouting about in every single advertisement. This was real boxing, not influencer garbage, not some feel-good exhibition where washed-up celebrities go easy on each other, not internet drama pretending to be sports. They were selling this as Joshua versus Paul on Netflix, taking place in a legitimate professional venue with official scoring, medical supervision, broadcast equipment everywhere, and genuine heavyweight talent. Every single detail was crafted to communicate serious professional boxing.
Yeah, we think he broke his jaw. He's fine. We met with Netflix afterwards. He took a shower. He drove himself to the hospital. A broken jaw is very common in sports, particularly in boxing or MMA, and I think the recovery time from the...
Jake strutted into that venue, acting like he owned the place. You could see it in everything about his presentation. The whole brand they built around him screamed invincible, fearless, completely immune to any criticism or pressure. That was the entire story they were selling to viewers. That was the narrative Netflix invested serious cash to broadcast. But here's where marketing collided with actual reality. The guy waiting for him in that ring wasn't some retired mixed martial artist looking to cash a check. Not a former athlete dabbling in something new. Not some has been trading on old fame from decades past. This was Anthony Joshua, a former two-time unified heavyweight champion with Olympic gold. A legitimate competitor with over 10 years of elite-level fighting burned into his instincts and reaction. Anthony Joshua had invested years, literal years absorbing punishment from real heavyweights, not building a boxing reputation through social media content and hand-picked matchups.
Anthony Joshua didn't throw a single straight right hand for 6 rounds.
When you actually analyzed what each guy brought to this fight, the experience difference was absolutely humiliating. Joshua had Olympic credentials from competing for his nation on the biggest stage, multiple championship belts from different sanctioning bodies, title fight experience against elite division talent. And maybe most crucially, he had defeats that actually educated him about the deeper aspects of boxing. Jake had highlight packages that seemed impressive in edited clips, promotional videos cut for maximum drama, and a track record of strategically chosen opponents designed to pad his record without excessive danger. The size difference was even more obvious when they faced each other directly. Arm length, overall weight, natural strength, rhythm built through thousands of training rounds, mental toughness under legitimate pressure, Joshua dominated every category. Not needing to talk trash or create drama, just to stay relevant. Jake required endless hype and loud talking just to belong in the discussion.
And not only did you not get knocked out, you dropped and said, wow.
I was like, wow, that was nice. I was on the ground. I was like, that was a good shot.
Did he surprise you with his power?
To be honest, no. But, I mean, he surprised my jaw.
This was honestly the first occasion Jake Paul faced a current, peak-condition world-class boxer who had zero incentive to go easy and every motivation to silence doubters who wondered why he'd even accept this matchup. There was no protective booking written into this fight. No safety net if things went sideways, just complete risk and vulnerability. And the second that first bell sounded, I could read it in his posture and energy. This wasn't about victory anymore. Not about controlling the fight or proving anything. This was about lasting without getting embarrassed too obviously or too quickly. Because everybody watching understood the defeat wasn't just going to be another mark in the loss column. It was going to be the live, worldwide destruction of the entire Jake Paul marketing strategy broadcast to millions. The fantasy that attitude and self-promotion could substitute for real experience and technique finally collapsed in front of a global audience that couldn't turn away.
Looks like Jake Paul is trying to bait him into something, but he's the one that's hit the canvas twice in this round. Incredible.
Right from the first moments of round 1, it was totally clear what Jake's actual strategy had turned into. Circle sideways, duck direct confrontations, tie up and hold whenever Joshua pressured forward, create space, run the same pattern repeatedly. There was no dominance being built, no ring control, no forcing his agenda on the fight, just evasive movement designed purely to survive. And here's what viewers miss when they break down this performance. Joshua allowed him to do it. That's the element casual observers don't grasp. Joshua intentionally controlled the tempo, studied the angles with calculation, observed Jake's tendencies and weaknesses, and let exhaustion create the damage before his power needed to end things. Jake moved around that canvas like someone desperately trying to stay afloat, just keeping himself functional. Every tie-up was momentary safety and rest. Every return to distance was stolen time before the unavoidable. Joshua never rushed anything, because rushing wasn't necessary. He simply waited with the calm of someone who's fought for championships. That's what genuine top-tier experience produces in practice. When you recognize the other guy is burning energy just to survive your presence, you let him exhaust himself before you finish the work.
I love this shit, and I'm gonna come back and get a world championship belt at some point.
Are you surprised you went 6 rounds with the former 2-time unified heavyweight champion?
Honestly, I'm not surprised. I just got tired, to be honest. Like, it was just so much.
Round 5 arrived, and that's when the total breakdown started for real. 2 separate knockdowns in one round, not from wild scrambles where luck matters, not from accidental connections, but from steady damage accumulation and the failure of basic defense, balance disappearing, protective positioning falling apart, legs becoming heavy and slow, cardio becoming strained and desperate. That round eliminated every fantasy about this being an even contest. Jake wasn't getting caught by surprise, timing, or random power shots. He was completely, fundamentally dominated in every element that counts. When round 6 began, everyone watching knew how this ended. One precise, perfectly placed power punch, connected, no dramatic setup, no questions about the referee's decision, just simple physics and force transfer. The official stepped forward and stopped it because nothing remained to be proven, and no purpose in allowing it to go further. Jake's body had already surrendered before any count needed to reach 10.
I don't like it. Even Anthony Joshua had some class and, apologized to me.
Did he really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He worked his way through the crowd and came up to me and said, Mom, it's just boxing.
That's boxing. That's just boxing. I'm dealing with the aftermath now. The response afterward on social platforms and sports media revealed everything about what viewers had just seen. Some people were surprised he actually survived 6 complete rounds against someone of Joshua's quality, but others were equally surprised by how totally defenseless he appeared once serious pressure mounted and escape became impossible. This wasn't courage or determination being displayed. This was a slow, systematic breakdown filmed from every possible angle with absolutely no place to hide from truth. All that aggressive posturing and internet tough guy content didn't survive very long after the final horn. Within hours of exiting that ring, Jake was being rushed to medical facilities for evaluation, no celebration speeches being written, no flexing for photographers, no social media posts about moral wins, just hospital lighting and medical professionals doing their work and conducting examinations. The results that emerged were painfully direct and more severe than early reports indicated. Initially, it was a fractured jaw, then the scans showed something more serious, a compound break, not gossip being circulated by critics, not guessing from online commentators, but verified through actual medical imaging and expert diagnosis. Recovery timeframes landed in the 6 to 8 week minimum range, and that's assuming perfect healing with no setbacks. This isn't bruising that looks terrible for a couple days. This isn't swelling that reduces. This is actual bone destruction, and people truly need to comprehend what that means for someone who fights. A broken jaw impacts literally everything in normal life. Consuming regular food becomes genuinely difficult, requiring liquid nutrition, talking normally becomes restricted, and agonizing. Even basic breathing demands careful focus and adjustment. All physical training ceases immediately and completely. No contact work, no mitt training, no fitness that involves any head movement. This isn't surface level damage you can cover with cosmetics. This is structural destruction to your face and it's the type of injury that permanently alters how you think about fighting if you ever return at all. But Jake being Jake, he immediately started converting it into content. Social media updates began appearing, making fun of the injury, tough guy captions about being resilient, transforming a medical emergency into promotional material and audience engagement. Even his profile photos played into joking and minimizing serious trauma. Zero actual responsibility for no honest examination of what failed or what he discovered, just image management and content production and protecting the brand. And that's when the whole situation became truly pathetic to observe. He lost the fight completely. Then he attempted to transform medical trauma into marketing content, and everyone watching recognized exactly what he was attempting. The difference was totally brutal when you pulled back and examined the complete situation. Here was someone claiming to be fearless and indestructible while simultaneously broadcasting the physical results of facing someone who actually earned that level. I wasn't seeing a fighter learning and developing from hardship. I was seeing someone realizing in real time that confidence and internet fame don't repair bone breaks, and that cameras and smart editing don't absorb the impact of legitimate punches from legitimate fighters. Then the shocking announcement dropped about the canceled super fight that was supposed to happen next. Jake Paul versus Gervonta Tank Davis had been officially confirmed for November 14th in Miami, and this wasn't just discussion or planning. Tickets had already been purchased by customer. Promotional campaigns were currently running on multiple channels. Advertising space had been reserved and purchased by sponsors. Major corporate partners were locked into agreements. Technical teams had been hired and organized. The location had been secured and booked, and Netflix had invested truly serious capital into the production before a single training session was even filmed or a single commercial had been shot. The economic scope of what was being constructed was legitimately enormous. Insider financial estimates from people connected to the production allegedly reached $120 million in total project value, and that covered projected subscriber growth, commercial revenue, partnership, contracts, and the long-term strategic value for Netflix in the combat sports market. This wasn't a casual experiment or a minor side venture they were exploring. This was a major commitment with infrastructure supporting it, development expenses, employee wages, marketing budgets, and broadcast infrastructure were already funded and operational. The entire operation was actively functioning and consuming resources daily. Then Jake destroyed the entire thing, unilaterally, without gradual withdrawal discussion, without compromise or trying to postpone, just a direct decision that incinerated everything and left everyone scrambling. And here's what makes this legally catastrophic. Netflix didn't claim confusion about contract terms or misunderstanding between the parties in their legal action. They claimed intentional breach of agreement, and you have to understand that difference, not mutual cancellation, where both sides agree, not claiming unexpected circumstances that made completion impossible. Intentional breach, that exact language carries enormous weight in contract law and financial penalties. The legal case that Netflix submitted demanded $100 million in damages, with the genuine legal risk being that lost revenue calculations could drive that amount even higher as evidence gathering exposes additional financial destruction. This wasn't about punishing Jake for simply reconsidering a business choice. This was about legal consequences and establishing precedent. Jake's reputation as a dependable attraction for major productions suffered direct, measurable damage that will haunt him. Streaming platforms don't forget. When someone costs them this much cash and humiliation, they absolutely don't. And sponsors who got burned, they definitely don't forget. And they communicate with each other. Netflix executives were allegedly completely enraged about the entire disaster. Company leadership was publicly humiliated within the industry, handling calls from furious business partners. Their brand credibility with sponsors and advertisers sustained real harm that will impact future deals. This is an organization that built its reputation on accuracy, analytical decision-making, and maintaining authority over their content platform, and suddenly they appeared completely irresponsible for investing so heavily on an internet fighter who treated legally enforceable contracts like optional recommendations. He could disregard. Jake didn't just lose a boxing match to Anthony Joshua, he destroyed a multi-billion-dollar corporation's trust and relationship in one catastrophic move. And that creates repercussions that will reach far beyond this individual lawsuit.